We're going to explain the difference between YAML and YAML file extensions. Both YAML and YAML are used for YAML ain't markup language files, a human-readable data serialization language. The confusion stems from the fact that both extensions are commonly used, leading to a bit of a debate about which is correct. Let's clear this up. 1. YAML's history and the extension debate. Initially, the preferred extension was YAML, reflecting the full name YAML ain't markup language. However, some systems had issues with the YAML extension, leading to widespread adoption of .yml. YAML was seen as shorter and less prone to these problems. 2. The current reality. Both are acceptable. The reality is that both .yaml and YAML extensions are widely accepted and understood by YAML parsers and editors. Most modern YAML processors will happily handle either file type without issue. There isn't a strict technical difference in how they are processed. 3. Practical considerations and best practices. While technically interchangeable, choosing a consistent extension across your projects is vital for maintainability and clarity. Sticking to one will prevent confusion for yourself and anyone else working with your files. There is no better extension. The most important thing is consistency within your project. 4. Choosing an extension. Personal preference or project style guide. Ultimately, the choice comes down to personal preference or following a project's established style guide. If you are working on a project that already uses one, maintain that convention. If starting a new project, consider the advantages of .yml for brevity and reduced potential for compatibility problems. But YAML is perfectly valid too. The core principle is consistency. 5. Example scenario. Imagine you're working on a configuration file for a web server. Whether you use config YAML or config YAML, the contents, the YAML data defining the settings, will be identical. The only change is the file name extension. The software processing the file should interpret it correctly regardless of which extension is used. There's no functional impact. 6. Summary. Don't get hung up on the YAML versus .yml debate. Choose one, be consistent, and focus on the YAML content itself. Both extensions work, and the critical aspect is the readability and structure of the YAML data within the file, not its ending. Using either is perfectly fine as long as you're consistent.